So what do you think is missing from this conversation?
So I did a lot of work on this recognitional decision-making, the recognition prime decisions about how people use their experience to quickly size up situations. What happens when you're in a crisis and you haven't seen it before? And your experience isn't going to be sufficient, and you have to figure things out on the fly and make connections on the fly. What happens there? And so the recognition prime decision model doesn't address that. And I kept getting asked that question. And so a friend of mine, Bill Duggan at Columbia School of Business, looked at strategic intuition about these kinds of situations. And that got me interested in the whole process of insight. And so I spent the last couple of years investigating what happens when your prior experience isn't enough and you have to move beyond it. The patterns you have aren't sufficient. You have to develop new patterns on the fly. And so that's what I've been examining. How do people form insights? And it turns out that there's different ways that people form insights, which was kind of a surprise for me. I thought there would be one scheme, and there was more than one. So I identified different pathways to try to reach insights. And then that raised the question, well, why don't we have more insights? What gets in the way? So I looked at what stops people from having insights.
And this is a big part of your latest book,
right?
Seeing What Others Don't. And you have a wonderful diagram we could put up.
The diagram about the different paths for achieving insights, but then what gets in the way, and now I have another diagram about the factors that we identified that prevent you from having insights. One of the most important one is you're holding on to flawed beliefs. And the people who have the insights give up those flawed beliefs, and the ones who have the same information but don't get the insight don't discard their flawed beliefs and just get fixated on them. So that's a critical one. Another one is just having an active mindset, not just taking the information and sort of moving it a little bit to get an answer, but saying, what does this mean? What are the implications? What could this mean? And actively exploring different possibilities. That's another way people come up with insights who have an active mindset and others don't. Some people are concrete thinkers, and as opposed to hypothetical thinkers. And so that's an individual difference. And so some people love to deal with hypotheticals. So this could happen, what could I do with that? And they're very exciting to be around sometimes. Sometimes they're very annoying to be around. You know, we've got to come to a decision, and they're still exploring different possibilities, and you want to, you know, could you be quiet right now? And so it's not that it's always a great trait, but it's a trait that leads to insights. And most people are able to harness it and use their hypothetical thinking effectively.
And so what does insights give us?
Okay, so an insight changes the way we understand things. Okay, so now we have a different view of what's going on, what's important, what's not important, how they're connected. And that different understanding changes the kind of actions that we consider. And so now our action possibilities are expanded because of the insights we have. Insights change our emotions, things that we might have ignored, now we become worried about or excited about. Insights change our goals, that we realize there's certain things we can achieve that we hadn't realized before. And so we shift our goals. And insights change our attention, the things that we look at and the things we don't pay attention to.